Good morning, YouTube, and welcome back. So as promised, I said that we would start creating like a little game type thing, and I decided to do Hangman first because it's on the first of our list. So let's go ahead and open up Visual Studio, and let's create a new project. Get rid of that one, and console. Inside, well, where'd it go? Desktop, projects, no. YouTube, misspelled that. Projects, I'm going to create a new folder in here. Well, inside full projects, I'll put them in here. So I have my directory set, so I'm going to call the solution Antares.games, and inside the name of the project is just going to be games, I believe. Let's click OK and let it build. Okay, so the very first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to delete the program class on the left inside the Solution Explorer. And I'm going to create one with a custom name, which you could have just renamed it, but I usually delete it anyway. And I'm going to call this INIT. No, let's call it Start, because this is going to be the Start class. Now, I never really showed how to call other classes and stuff like that, which we're going to use nothing but public classes for right now. So I'm just going to change that to a public class. And then I'm also going to delete all this just in case you're not using the same system as I am, which this is using system. So if like you're using Xamarin or something like that, some of these options you won't be able to do, others you will if you're using something like Xamarin, especially if you're on a Mac. Yes, you can program C# in Mac. I'm actually on a bootcamp Mac, so that was one of the first things I did on the Mac. So, and that's without bootcamping Windows. Just use Xamarin or something like that. So let's go ahead and start this. So this class is called Start. So let's go ahead and create a public static void main. And the very first thing that I want to do is set up variables inside the actual class itself, not inside of a method. Now to do this, you go public, or well, you don't have to do public, but you can do static, and I'm going to create a bool called isPlay, and I'm going to make that by itself, so it doesn't have a value yet. Inside the start method is where we're also going to do the main menu. So we're also going to set up different aspects. So let's go ahead and start our while loop here. So while, so let's set isPlay equals true. Tour is true. And we're going to go while isPlay. And this starts our entire game right here. So the very first thing we want to do is we want to set up a main menu. So I want all the options to be in its own menu, and I think that's what we're going to set up right now, because option number 1 is going to be select your game. Option number 2 is going to be options, and then we're going to have a selection 0 for exit. And I don't really want to get into the games quite yet, because this is how you're going to basically customizable stuff and things like that. So I'm going to come over here, I'm going to right click on games, the main project. I'm going to go add, I'm going to click on a class, and I'm going to call this class options. And I'm going to make it public. Now inside this public class, let's go ahead and set some variables. Actually, we're not going to do that quite yet. Let's go ahead and set up some other things first. So we have start here. Inside the options, we're going to be able to choose foreground colors. We're going to be able to choose background colors. We're going to be able to set the console size, meaning width and height. You cannot, as of right now, you cannot set the console font size or text yet, but I'm working on that. I'm working on a workaround, so we'll see how that goes. Let's see, what else are we going to set in here? We're going to set the title of the console. And I think that's about it for right now. But these are all going to be options that we're going to be able to choose ourselves in-game, and they will change in-game. So, let's go ahead and click on games one more time, add a class, and call these menus. And let's rename our project. So right click on games, click rename, and it'll highlight in blue, and we're going to name it something more meaningful, like well, we can set it to something more along the lines of let's just call it start project. Yeah, let's call it start project. Now the only thing in this is that we have to rename all of the namespaces to start project. So let's, should be, oh, there we go. Let's click on this, rename games to start project. Bam. Now, that should have changed everything. Yep, changed everything. And again, I want to get rid of all of these except for using, because we're not using any of them yet. Alright, so that changed, and if you didn't see what I did, I'll go ahead and change these again. I'll rename this. I'm going to change it back to games. If you highlight, if you change one namespace here, okay, so let's change one namespace, and you hover over it with your icon or with your mouse, you'll see a light bulb appear. Click on that light bulb, and you'll have an option that says rename whatever you had it as to whatever you have it as now. And what you do is just click on that, and it'll change all the namespaces in your entire project. So I'm going to rename this again. Back to start project. Whoop. There we go. Okay. So, let me see what my time's at. I know I'm taking a lot of time to do stuff, but I do apologize. But let's go ahead and try this. So, let's go to the menu first. So we have a public class menus. Then we're going to have certain variables in here, like let's do a string or a static string array called menu or main menu. Okay. And then down here we're going to do a static void main menu, all caps. And then what we can do is go main menu 0 equals 1 colon, oh, not even 1. Let's do select game main menu 1 will equal options, and main menu 2 will equal exit. And then we can return main menu, and this will be a string. So what this does is we create a global variable in this class called main menu, and then we set the main menu here, and then we return it back to wherever we call main menu, which this should be called get main menu text. So this is going to be gets and return text for the main menu, and that's all that's going to do. Up here we are going to set all global variables. So now we set the main menu, right? So now what we have to do is we have to print the main menu, and we're going to do that above this one. So let's do it 2 above it so that this doesn't expand. So static void print main menu. Now we can do, and actually we don't even have to return anything because it's a global variable. I do apologize, because when you set a global variable, anybody can access it. So now what we need to do is we need to print the main menu. So, and that's going to be pretty simple. That's just a for each. Well, we do need numbers. So let's do a int number, or num, equals 1. And then we're going to do a for each string str in main menu, Then we'll do a console dot writeLine parentheses or quotation marks, curly bracket 0 in curly bracket, a colon, a space, and then curly brackets with a 1 inside of it. In that, then put a comma. Then we'll type in num, comma, str. And that ends that. And then we'll do num plus plus. So that then it'll count 1, 2, 3. So that prints the main menu. So prints main menu to screen. And we don't need to do a while loop here because we're going to be doing a while loop when we call that. So let's see what else we need to do. So we need to call this to print the main menu, correct? Okay, so what we can do is we can come back to, oh, I know what we need to do. We need to set choices. So when the user chooses one of these options, and we're going to set that in the main menu as well. So what we can do is go static, actually this shouldn't be up here, this should be down here. So static void main menu user choice. Bad naming conventions. So now what we can do is do a console.write enter number, we can't say corresponding, enter number to the left of your choice, colon, and a space. Now, here we do a int choice, which what we're going to do here is go, because this is going to be returned, this is the one we're going to call in order for everything else to take place. So let's do, we don't need a static int. This only has to happen once. So let's set it up here. Let's go int choice equals nothing. And here we're going to go choice equals int.parse console.readline. Alright, now this is the interesting part. So let's say that we call this and instead they enter a letter. It's gonna break the code. So let's do a bool is correct, and we're gonna make this false. We're gonna naturally just say false. So, and then here we will do a while is correct equals false. Equals false, and put those inside brackets. We're going to ask this question. So as long as is correct is false, it's going to ask this question here. And then what we're going to do is we're going to try to parse the user's choice. If it's correct, so if their choice is red, then what we will do is we will go is correct equals true. Now, there's other things we need to check, right? So let's wait on this one. There are only, so far, there are only, what, 3 choices? But this string array that we marked up here can be an infinite amount. So as we change it, as we add stuff to this, then we'd have to change stuff down here. And we don't want to have to do that. So what we want to do is we want to say, do another int, and we will do menu text range equals main menu. I had to remember what it was called. Main menu. Where is it at? This one right here. Dot length. It gets a 32-bit integer that represents the total number of elements in all the dimensions of an array. So what that does is it gets the length from 1, not from 0. So it'll count 1, 2, 3. So if there's, how we have 3 elements in the array, this number will be 3. So now we have int 3. Now we can do a if choice is not greater than 3, what did I forget to do?